to the Ant-Man channel on this Friday, the 8th of February, 2013. Let me get on your level real quick. Sorry, I had my chair all the way up. Sorry, you didn't see my face. Anyway, I was gonna get into this LAPD murder business that I've heard like 100 different stories of already. No, I'm exaggerating, about three different stories already. Before lunchtime even, I had already seen the reports from the mainstream media in the morning, and then I saw some other stuff people have been posting, and I'm just like, okay, well, this goes, into that exact same thing that happened at Sandy Hook, same exact thing that happened in Aurora, Colorado. Notice these things happen, all of them lately, in a string of events that they've all had the same exact trend of disinformation, or hearing three different stories come out and all kinds of bizarre things like that people come up with in these stories, and you just don't know what to believe, but that the government uses these tragedies to take away the rights of the general public, who doesn't know that the general public is not aware of the things that are really going on. They think that everything is fine and that the government wants to help them. Well, it's either that or they know the government's corrupt, but hey, at least we're on the winning side or something, like it's a total demoralization of the population. And but anyways, let me get into this article. I didn't know this popped up today, but this seems pretty newsworthy and should be read. WND exclusive: nuclear financial attack could cripple DC. Very little communications or electronic infrastructure would escape. This is by F. Michael Maloof. F. Michael Maloof, staff writer for WND and G2 Bulletin, is a former senior secretary policy and analyst. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, analyst in the office of the Secretary of Defense. I had a little tongue twister there. Let's see, Washington. Just what would be the electronic cost to the U.S. in the event of a deliberate electromagnetic pulse attack? An attack that could result from a nuclear explosion from a device launched offshore with virtually no warning. Try up to $3 trillion, nearly equivalent to the federal government's entire 2013 budget, and that's just for an attack that would impact the eastern seaboard. The SAGE Policy Group of Baltimore and Instant Access Networks examined what it would cost should there be a high-altitude EMP attack. The study was meant to give a conservative determination of the economic impact from the effects of an electromagnetic attack on the Washington, D.C. region, stretching from Baltimore, MD. I'm not sure what is MD. That's gonna bother me, man. To Richmond and Virginia. Anyways, I'll probably remember it as we read on. The effort was to put a financial face to the problem and suggest quick steps that could be taken to mitigate the economic impact of an EMP attack, according to the study. The study looked at the economic effects of such an attack from a nuclear device detonated between 30 and 80 miles above the ground, affecting an area at least 500 miles in radius. A larger nuclear device detonated at 300 to 400 miles above ground would impact the entire continent and may also produce a substantial slower pulse known as E3 that can cause additional damage. The study said, if in these instances of high-altitude EMP, no one would feel the heat or blast, but merely experience the effects of the disruption or damage to the electronic and power infrastructure. An electromagnetic pulse is a high-intensity burst of electromagnetic energy caused by the rapid acceleration of charged particles. These particles can be so powerful and supercharged that they can knock out or completely fry an unprotected electronics or electrical systems depending on intensity. Electromagnetic energy comes in many forms, including gamma rays, X-ray, microwaves, radio waves, and infrared radiation, and among others. The SAGE study estimated that the effects of a detonation over the area at the stated altitude would extend out hundreds of miles beyond the region that was considered in the study, significantly complicating the recovery process as the restoration of economic activity while producing economic consequences roughly 10 times greater than those impacting only the Washington region. The report presented a range of low, medium, and high impact scenarios and the resulting estimates of the economic damage. The methodology took into account assumptions on the disruption and damage to regional electrical power systems, communication system control, and data acquisition, or SCADA, SCADA, devices and other critical infrastructure from the EMP attack. Destroying and damaging these infrastructures also would be an impact on larger power systems that similarly would be disrupted or damaged, causing management and safety measures to be defeated. Where was I? Oh yeah, this can result in larger system failures and damage, the study said. The study also looked at the time that would be required to repair the damage and fully restore economic activity, because the economy is so interconnected and so dependent on electricity to power that interconnectedness. Very little of electrical communications or electric infrastructures would escape unaffected, the report said. However, only equipment that is shielded from both radiated and conducted pulses that meet military specifications such as the Series 188, 125 could be counted upon this to survive without disruption or damage, he said. Civilian critical infrastructure is largely unprotected at this time, the study said. Under this high or worst case scenario, the study said the damage from an EMP attack would be widespread and the duration of disrepair would last for years. It went on to say that the quantity of equipment needed to replace that which was destroyed and damaged would quickly exhaust readily available supplies and could exceed existing manufacturing capacity. With that, the available skilled labor to replace and restore key infrastructure probably wouldn't exist for some time, and the time to undertake the replacement and repair would concur slowly and only gather speed as the basic infrastructure gradually was brought back online. In taking in a conservative approach in the study, it meant that the damage could be considerably worse than what the study revealed. More extensive damage is also likely to be associated with high-altitude EMP that would affect areas much larger than the Baltimore, Washington, Richmond region, further complicating recovery efforts, the report said. The study pointed out, and this article is pretty lengthy actually, I mean it goes on and on, about how, Washington has, 771 billion, take up to almost 3 years to recover. Well, they're saying, the repairs, if something like that were to happen, the repairs, the money that would rack up in these repairs would go, it would be ridiculous. It could exceed $1 trillion, it said. Well, I mean, these are, obviously just scenarios and saying, the kind of stuff that what big daddy government spends money on, like what they should and shouldn't be spending money on, and how nobody says anything about their own tax dollars. I mean, it's like an ancient Egypt, only more sophisticated type of slavery where you're paying for the government to do whatever they want, yet you're not questioning them when you have every right to. I mean, you're the one giving them this money. You work hard for it, and they take it so that they can go fund your enemies to come and take over your own country. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. Well, yeah, that's that article. You could come read the rest of it for yourself. This is on WND.com. Cost of EMP blast over DC staggering. Pretty much front page. So check that out.